Now, in some cases, you might run into a situation where two atoms have the same atomic number. Let's look at this example down here and we'll see how that happens. Here's our chiral center, and let's go ahead and highlight the four atoms directly attached. We have an oxygen, a hydrogen, a carbon, and a carbon. Well, how are we supposed to prioritize these if the two carbons have the same atomic number? So what you want to do is compare the atoms attached to those carbons, or whatever atoms they might be. If they're still a tie, and we'll see an example of that in just a minute, move out one atom and do another comparison. So with this one, the four atoms directly attached to the chiral center are an oxygen, a hydrogen, a carbon, and we'll say carbon A, and carbon B. Now, based on atomic numbers, you can go ahead and say that the oxygen will be priority 1, the hydrogen will be priority 4. It's just the two carbons we can't differentiate yet. So what you want to do is look at what's attached to each of these carbons. On carbon A, if I draw everything in, I have those two hydrogen. So what's attached to carbon A? We have an oxygen, a hydrogen, and a hydrogen, in addition to the chiral center, but we don't really need to worry about it because it's also attached to carbon B, so it's not going to be something that will help us differentiate. So attached to carbon A, let's write what we have. We have O, H, and H. Okay, now let's look at carbon B and see what atoms are attached to it. On carbon B, we have a carbon, and a carbon. What you want to do is look at all of these atoms and see if anything wins by atomic number. Well, carbon A has an oxygen which has a higher atomic number than any of these three carbons attached to carbon B. For that reason, it gets priority. So that'll be number 2. Carbon B will be number 3. We now have our atoms prioritized. If you need to move priority 4 to the back, you would do that, but in this case it's already to the back, so we don't have to worry about that. Now all we have to do is draw our arrow, and we have a curved arrow going from 1 to 2 to 3. That's going around to the left, so this one has an S configuration.